My name is Abigail. I'm a Jamaican living and studying in Cuba, and this is my 5th apartment in 3 years. Let's talk about it. So at this point, I do think I am somewhat of an apartment hunting expert in Cuba. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys the methods that I use to look for apartments, what I'm looking for when I'm apartment hunting, as well as I will have a few apartment tours with prices in this video as well. I'm leaving timestamps down below just in case anyone wants to skip ahead to a particular part of the video. That will be there. I will also be leaving the link down below of my apartment tour of the first ever apartment that I got here when I first came to Cuba, so be sure to check that out when you have the time. If you see me looking down, I have my notes written on my tablet so that I don't forget any of my talking points. Alright, so the first method to find houses here in Cuba would be just to look around. So once you're looking around, you want to look out for the renting symbol. Now the renting symbol does look somewhat like an anchor. I will place a picture somewhere on the screen for you guys to see. The blue renting symbol is the one that is licensed to rent to international students. So that is what you would want to look out for as a foreigner studying in Cuba. Once you see that renting symbol, usually the number of the landlord would be listed below it or beside it, somewhere there. Or if not, you can always just walk up to the door and knock and ask them if they have a place available. Another way to look for houses here or to apartment hunt is through Facebook. I know we think Facebook is dead and gone, but trust, it is alive and popping in Cuba. So Facebook groups are a lifesaver. There are so many different Facebook groups depending on where you're house hunting in Cuba that the landlords will frequently post listings on there. So I used to just go onto Facebook every day into these Facebook groups, and I would check for all the new listings for anything that was within my requirements. So Facebook groups, top tier way to house hunt here in Cuba. The third one, and I think the most popular one amongst foreigners, is on Revolico. So if you don't know Revolico, that's basically a website where people post anything. People sell houses on Revolico, sell cars, they sell services. So on Revolico, there is a section for houses. I'm not remembering the particular name right now, but I will list it on the screen. Once you're on there, you would just go ahead and put in all your requirements, what area you're looking to house hunt in, your budget, and all that good stuff, and then it would propagate all the listings that fit your requirement. So Revolico is also a very good way to house hunt. On Revolico as well, there is a WhatsApp option where once you click that button, it will put you in contact directly with the landlord, and the discussions can start from there. You can use Revolico just to look at listings and then reach out to those landlords. But personally, I like to create my own post on Revolico. So Revolico does give you the option to create your own post. So normally when I'm apartment hunting, I would go on there and post a listing saying, hey, I'm looking for an apartment with this amount of rooms. Here's my budget. Here's when I'm planning to move in, and any other requirements that you have. If you want a washing machine, if you want a cleaning service, if you want utilities to be included in the rent, any of your requirements, go ahead and put that in your Revolico notice, and then list your email or your phone number there so that persons who see that listing and have an apartment available for rent, they can reach out to you. I'm not telling y'all to go ahead and post your number on Revolico like I did, but I'm just saying that this is definitely the most effective way I've seen, because within a day I used to get like 5 different persons messaging me saying, hey, I have an apartment that fits your needs, this is a price, let's get into the nitty-gritty. You can also do the same thing in the Facebook groups as well. You can go in there and say, hey, I'm hunting for an apartment that is this price, this many bedroom, list all your requirements and make that post in the Facebook group, and persons who have apartments available or know of apartments that are available will go ahead and comment under your post, and then you can start the discussion process from there. But when it comes to apartment hunting, I live alone, so I'm looking for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. My budget is usually anywhere from 200 to 300 USD per month. I'm looking for an in-unit washer. I'd also like for there to be some amount of natural lighting, because the dark and gloomy, I've been there, done that, was a nightmare. I'm also looking for a full-size stove. A microwave is always a must for me. I do also need it to be a commutable distance to my school, because if it's too far away, it just will not work. For once, when I'm apartment hunting, I would love for utilities to be included. Some landlords do cover the utilities themselves, like light, gas, and water. They do cover that utilities themselves, so I would love for that to be included. I would also like for a cleaning service to be included as well within the rent. And I would also like a separate living space. I don't have anything against studios. I think sometimes studios are really nice. But if I can help it, I would prefer somewhere with a separate living room and have my bedroom be behind closed doors. So the first apartment we're going to be looking at is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath in Vedado, and this was for 250 USD a month. So the first apartment was really in a great area of Vedado. When I tell you I love this area, there are so many different shops and places and restaurants around that you can visit. It was also on the smaller side in terms of space, but I worked with it for a little bit and it was completely fine. The bathroom in this apartment was really spacious, so that was a plus, because I am a bathroom girly. If the bathroom is disgusting, I just won't do it, because my wash day literally takes hours. So if the bathroom is a no, the whole apartment is a no. So luckily this place had a very nice bathroom. The thing with this apartment though was that the bedroom and the bathroom were separated from the laundry room and the kitchen by this sort of outdoor passage thing, which made life so difficult whenever it started raining, because then I would have to essentially be outside to go between my bedroom and my kitchen, or go between my bedroom and the washroom, and it just, in the long run, it just did not make any sense for me to stay there. As well as this apartment in particular was a bit further from school than I would have liked. So yeah, I ended up spending about 3 months in this apartment, and I actually found this apartment while I was in Jamaica. So I did not look at this apartment in person before deciding that I was going to rent it, because I was in Jamaica. It was summer, I think everyone was in Jamaica. So there wasn't really anyone for me to ask, hey, go visit this apartment for me. So I just met this lady through Facebook, and we started talking, and she was like, hey, I saw your post in a Facebook group, and I have an apartment that I think would fit you. And I said, okay, bet. And she sent me the pictures. We started talking. She was super nice. Even though I did not spend that long there, the landlords were so amazing. Like, I love them so much, because they really just did everything within their power to make me feel comfortable in the space. And for that, I love them, because trust, I've had some awful landlords over here, so I really appreciate whenever a landlord just puts in that extra work to make you feel comfortable, especially as a foreigner. Apartment number dos that we're talking about is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath again in Playa. It did have a separate living space, and the rent was 200 USD per month. So now, initially this apartment seemed like a dream. I went to visit the apartment with Asha, and she was literally like, girl, if you don't take this apartment, I will. And I said, say no more, let me lock in. But yeah, so this apartment had a good amount of space. It also had a separate living area and a really nice kitchen, which I appreciated so much. The bedroom did not get a lot of natural lighting, and that really was a no-go for me. But luckily the living room and the kitchen got enough light during the day that it wasn't really that much of a bother. The bathroom also looked really nice, really decent. And yeah, I was like, okay, take my money now. I'm moving in tomorrow. So for me, this apartment was also really appealing because it was an area that I had lived in before for like a year, and I had friends close by, and I also knew where everything was because I had lived there a while back. So I was like, okay, I'm already familiar with this area. So it's a yes for me. Yes, 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 yes. But essentially, I was bamboozled with this apartment. Hate to say it, but I was bamboozled. I was scammed. It breaks my heart just thinking about it, right? I'm so serious. Okay, but yeah, I was bamboozled. I was scammed with this apartment. At the time when I moved in, it was raining a lot, and one night I went into the kitchen for a cup of water to get me a little drink in the night. And I stepped in the kitchen and I stepped into a huge puddle of water. Like, I stepped in the kitchen and I heard splash. And I said, ooh. And I was like, no, this cannot be. Because around the time I moved, it was like a little bit before my exam. So I really could not handle the stress of the apartment falling apart. But baby, it was indeed falling apart. So the apartment was on ground level, and with all the rain, water started coming under the door. I think water was coming from somewhere in the kitchen as well. And I messaged the lady that was in charge of the apartment, and I told her, hey, water is coming in. Don't know where all this water is coming from, but this shouldn't be happening. I've been here like, what, 2 weeks? Maybe not even that. And she basically brushed me off and was trying to tell me like, hey, this is normal, this is expected when there's a lot of rain. And I said, ooh, not the free indoor swimming pool. And y'all know I can't swim. I do not want water inside my apartment. Could you explain to me why outside is now inside? I'd like to hear it. But yeah, she was basically just telling me, hey, that's normal when rain falls. And I said, run me my money. So I was up and out of there within a month. I had paid for 3 months in advance, I think. So she took that 1 month while I was living there. I even wanted her to give me back the money for the month I was living there. Because me living in water, But yeah, she took the money for the 1 month I was living there, and then she returned the money for the months that I had paid in advance. Also with that apartment, you know, as a Jamaican, you say your spirit just not take certain things. With that apartment, my spirit just not take the apartment. It was just bad vibes from the start. When I tell you, Ashadale, she helped me move and she was with me. We kind of like ordered food after I moved in and everything. And I low-key did not want her to leave. I felt so sad seeing her go. It was just bad vibes. I just never felt comfortable in that place. I don't know why. And then the flooding on top of it, I was like, yeah, get me out of here now. Please, 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 please. So I left. And now we're here. So apartment number 3 is my current apartment. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath with a separate living room, and the rent is $300 USD per month. I love the separate living space. I also really love the high ceilings in this apartment as well. It does have the full-size stove, even though the stove is a little bit outdated for my taste. But never to worry, as long as that oven works, I'm Gucci. The bathroom is on the smaller side, but I don't really mind that. As long as the bathroom was a nice bathroom, then I would have been okay with it. The room is very spacious. I have a closet. I don't think I've ever had a proper closet in any of the 5 apartments that I've rented in Cuba. So having a designated closet space, even though it's not very huge, is really nice. I do also have a balcony, which I love outdoor space. If the apartment or house has no outdoor space, I'm not there. I won't be there. I will go stir crazy if I cannot step foot in some kind of outdoor space, whether that be a balcony or a yard or something. As for my tips for apartment hunting in Cuba, if you are apartment hunting here, make sure to carry a friend with you. Carry someone with you, because a lot of the times you may overlook something or you may not think of something. So always having a second mind there, a second set of eyes to look at the apartment when you're viewing it, is always really, really, really good. Another tip is to lower your expectations a bit when apartment hunting. The picture always looks better. I'm telling you, in the pictures, these apartments be looking like mansions, be looking like 5-star hotels, and then you get there and you're like, something's not right. Something is not right. So yeah, lower your expectations a bit. I'm not saying that there aren't great apartments out there, but trust that the pictures will always look 10 times better for some reason. Another tip is to negotiate. If you find an apartment that you really like, but it's a bit out of your budget, I'm not saying to go crazy now. If the apartment is way over your budget, leave it alone. But if the apartment is a bit over your budget, let's say $100 over your budget or like $50 over your budget, negotiate with the landlord, because a lot of the time they are willing to negotiate if you will be staying long term. And when I say long term, if you're staying for a year or more, I would consider that long term. When I'm trying to negotiate the prices, I usually tell them, hey, I'm a med student, I'm studying here for 7 years, I'm looking for somewhere to rent long term for the period of my study. And usually they want a tenant who will be there for years instead of constantly changing tenants. They want to have someone who's secure, so they will negotiate with you. I once negotiated a lady down for this really nice apartment from $450 to $300. After I finished negotiating with her, she took off $150. Mind you, Spanish is not my first language, but babes, me and Spanish date, me and Google Translate, we in there negotiating with that lady. So negotiate. If Spanish is not your first language, I would also recommend talking to these landlords through WhatsApp messages. Calls, sometimes they can say a lot of things that go over your head, because Cubans do talk real fast, muy rápido. So communicate mostly through messages if you aren't sure in your Spanish as yet. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you constantly give me. I think we're at 238 subscribers at the time I'm recording this, and that literally blows my mind, because I know no more than like 5 people in real life. So the fact that 238 of you have taken the time to watch my videos and subscribe, I really appreciate it so much. But yeah, I hope this video is helpful. If you guys have any more video ideas or any more topics that you want me to discuss, be sure to leave a comment down below, and my DMs on Instagram are always open if you guys have any questions that you want to ask. I'm usually on Instagram. If not, then I'm on YouTube, so you guys can let me know if anything. And ciao.